Hey everyone, Charlie here. Welcome to another LPP, Learn to Play Piano, where today we're going to take another question from a subscriber and see if we can shed some opinion on it. Today's question comes from Fib, who asks, how do you just play chords? And this is a great question, actually, because so much of music is chords. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're broken, sometimes they're in repeated pattern broken, i.e. an arpeggio, and maybe other things. But chords are a big part of harmony and a big part of music. So how do you play just chords? Well, the simplest chord would be like a C major chord, C, E, G. Play the chord, play all three notes together. That's a chord. You could double it up, play one in different octaves and play them together. That's a bigger chord. You could play four notes. You could any note within that key. So C, E, G. You could spread them out. So you could do C, E, C, G, E. That's kind of like a spread out chord. There's many ways, but I think I'd like to get into how to play chords and make them sound good. So balance is a huge thing in music, and especially in playing the piano, because you're not really playing just one or two notes. You're oftentimes playing up to 10 notes at a time, maybe, or more if you're having your pedal down and you have different notes ringing. So balance is a big thing, and when you're playing like a chord, balance is important too. So let's say you're playing a chord like C, E, G, C with maybe C, G, E on the bottom, right? Oops, like that. So how do you make that sound good? Well, if you just play it all kind of even, I mean, that sounds not bad, but I think we can do better. So I was at a piano festival years ago when I was in high school, I think, and I think there was a pianist, I think it was Andre Laplante from Canada, who I was working on the Beethoven 101 sonata. That wasn't great, but it starts off like this, playing a E, and G sharp. So 3 E's and a G sharp. And so it's really two notes, but they're just spread out. So you think, oh, well, you just play it, right? Well, he was showing me how to balance them, and he gave me a trick which I still use sometimes, I think, and it's really helpful, and it can be used to help, balancing chords too. This is basically well, it's not quite a chord, it's not 3 notes, but we'll call it. It's like a harmony, right? We want to balance it. So how do you balance it? He suggested press down on the pedal and keep the pedal held down and play the notes over and over again. Okay, so that time the G sharp wasn't audible. It was way too soft. And the melody is G sharp because it goes da 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 da. It's because it goes da. So how do you so play it with the pedal down, and if it's too quiet, keep repeating it. So maybe you want the melody to be one of the louder ones, so I'll bring that up a little bit. The right hand E isn't so important, so I'll bring that down. The left hand thumb E is not so important, but the pinky E, the low one, might be more important, so I'll bring that up because it kind of gives it structure and foundation. You keep repeating it until adjusting tiny bits until you get it just right. You can play. And that was a lot better, right? So if you take a chord even, let's say I take a big chord like we discussed earlier. Let's say I want more of the top. Let's say the melody's on the top. So I'll bring that top C out more. I want the bottom C also to give it some nice, maybe a little bit of the thumb in the right hand to kind of give it richness. You kind of play with the levels. It's almost as if you're mixing something on a mixing board. Not mixing board as in a kitchen, but like on a, if any of you have played with GarageBand, you have different tracks and you can like adjust the volumes basically of each, instrument, right? That's basically kind of what you're doing. You're adjusting the volumes of each note that you're playing. So anyways, that can be really useful to playing a great chord. So oftentimes in a chord, it really depends on the circumstances, but like if you're playing a big chord like that, you might want a good bass to kind of give it a rich foundation. The melodies are probably in the top, so oftentimes the top will want to come out. The middles, you don't want it to be only this. You're missing all that middle part, but maybe you want the thumb, maybe you can kind of play with it to kind of give a rich tone. If that's what you're looking for. Maybe you don't want a rich tone in a particular instance. It's up to you, but you can kind of adjust the levels, and that's a great way to help kind of improve playing chords. So I hope that was helpful. Like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in another video. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below. Bye-bye.